Things have changed a lot since I have traveled around with the need for assistance in airports. So, welcome to you. This is World Wheelchair Warriors. My name is Lisa, and I will be your host today. I'm your host always. So, today we're talking about traveling through an airport. I think a lot of us who travel frequently, we know we have it down pat. However, there are people who don't travel much, and it's like, how do I do this, Lisa? So I'm going to list a few things that you need to do to make sure that you follow those steps and everything will go correctly. I'm a person I can't walk very far, just a few steps without, not even I can't walk without my walker and just a few steps. So, I don't at this point because airlines are still struggling to load our wheelchairs and unload our wheelchairs without damaging them. I will not use my wheelchair when I travel. So forget it. So this is what I do. And I'll talk about both ends. Using your own wheelchair, and not using your own wheelchair. All right. So this process starts with your ticket because the ticket now has choices. If you're deaf, if you're blind, if you need a wheelchair assistance. So you need to check the appropriate boxes. You can be both. You can be, wheelchair. You need wheelchair assistance, and then you have hearing loss, and I have both. So I am really deaf, and I use cochlear implants, and I need assistance with a wheelchair. So if you need assistance with a wheelchair, click that box, mark it on your ticket, and that will show up for the people who are hired by the airlines to be on the lookout for you. So you go to the assistant, who is standing outside waiting for you, and you present your name, you show them your ticket, and then they'll bring a wheelchair and they will bring you in up to the desk to check in your luggage or just show your ticket and get everything settled for you. They will bring you all the way through security, and so that goes smoothly. They will bring you through a special gate. They will wand you. They will check you. So they'll check the wheelchair. They do all that. So you have to go through security just like anyone else. If you can't stand, you just let them know, I'm sorry, I can't stand. So all those kind of things, regular communication with TSA, no issues. So you'll get through security pretty well, no problem. Then they'll take you all the way to the gate. Now, this was an error on my part the last time I went through, that they transfer me over to a seat, that's close to the desk. But we should have gone all the way to the desk at the gate, and I should have said, I can't walk. I need assistance to get into the plane. I should have done that. I didn't. So everybody was loading, and they had no idea why I wasn't standing up and getting in line. So I had to ask one of the passengers to alert the woman at the desk that I belonged to that flight. I could not get up. So as soon as she came over, she saw it on her list, but it was kind of way down. It wasn't appropriately marked. So she said, "Are you mine?" And I said, "Yes, I think I am very much yours." So she was rattled and said, "Oh, I am so sorry." And she went to go get the special wheelchair, which is a very narrow wheelchair that they transfer you over to, and they bring you into the plane, usually first, so that, you don't have to do this whole rigmarole in front of everybody else. So she apologized and went to go get the aisle chair. It's called an aisle chair. And then I transferred over to the aisle chair, and she brought me into the plane very quickly. And the guys were just fine. They helped me transfer over to my seat in the plane. And that's it. But it starts from your ticket when you purchase the ticket. So that's really important for you to remember to mark the correct boxes. And you could be all three. You could be blind, you could be deaf, and you could need a wheelchair. So it's all of that they need to know to be able to help you. Now, you might have a invisible disability. An invisible disability is something that's not seen, like deafness or heart problems, COPD, those kind of things. Throughout the airports in Europe and the United States and Asia, they've been using this type of card, and it's called, see if I can get it here, hidden. So it's a hidden disability card. You can only get it on their website. I ask that you not go through other websites like Amazon or Etsy because they don't have the right color or the right symbols. So it is a sunflower. You got that right. The website is called Hidden Disabilities. And you'll find the right one. And it has a sunflower on it. And you can see the word there, hidden, and you can barely see the word disabilities. It's very cute because I have deafness, it says on the back, has my picture, and it says, sometimes I can't understand everything I hear. Please allow me time and patience. So that is awesome. Sometimes people talk to me and I have no clue what they're saying. Absolutely no clue. So they do have to kind of, and it comes with a cover, everything. And there is a cost to it. I don't know how much because, they will bring the cost down or up or whatever. So, but I thought it was a good investment because I think, even hotels are using it when they see a lanyard, and you can use the lanyard. You can just use this. You can show this at the desk. But not only at airports, but in other touristic places, when they see this, they know you have a disability and they're there and they'll be helpful and attentive to what you need. So I'm encouraging those who have heart conditions, COPD, deafness, blindness. Sometimes people look at you and there's all different kinds of blindness and they don't think that there's anything wrong with that person. So it's really important to wear this so that they know something's wrong and that you are truly blind and they need to help you. So there's no medical permission or anything like that. If you have that disability, you want them to see that you need assistance, then go to this page, and I will put the address in the description box for invisible disabilities, and get the whole thing. So again, at the airport, they will recognize this across the United States, Canada, Europe, so Asia. So it caught on. This started in the UK, so thank you for those who began this project because it has spread throughout the world. And I use it now every time I fly so that they know that it's not only the wheelchair, it's something else that they need to pay attention to. So, and they'll look at the card to see how, they need to help me. Or I'll say, I'm hearing impaired, please face me when you're speaking, and I will do my best to hear you. So, so this is really important, so pay attention to this. I will put the link, the address down below. So again, it's international. So that is helpful for some people who, they're standing. There's doesn't seem like there's anything wrong. So so then this comes into play. So let's see, where were we? We got to you got to the airport. The people recognize your ticket. They come to you with a wheelchair, and then they ask you, where do you need to go next? And you just say, to the desk so I can show my ticket, and then get that all set up. It doesn't mean that the main desk on the first floor communicated with the gate desk. That communication sometimes doesn't happen, and it's happened to me, and they're very apologetic because that's not supposed to happen. The main desk is supposed to communicate with the desk at the gate and to let them know this person has heart condition, COPD, is not able to walk. Please bring the aisle chair over to them when you begin to load your passengers. And sometimes that doesn't happen. The communication gets lost. But if they're bringing you over to the gate already, you've gotten through security, you're going towards the gate, sometimes they'll stop so you can pick up a snack or whatever. It's very nice of them. These people are hired by the airlines, just so you know. They're hired by the airlines. So they are paid already. You do not have to tip them. In the United States, you do not have to tip them. Sometimes they expect a tip, which they shouldn't because they have a salary and they don't need to be tipped. And they tell us don't tip them because they're already being paid. So some people don't have hands, and they expect that person to tip them. And it's like they don't have hands. They can't grab money. So it's really important for those who work for the airlines to please don't expect a tip. And they've told us, don't tip them. So, okay, we are forewarned. So when you get to the gate, you want to go directly to the desk and alert them, I am deaf, or I am blind, or I cannot walk, I need the aisle chair, or I need some guidance getting into the plane. So you need to go to the desk at the gate to make sure that communication has happened. That was my mistake last time flying. I did not go straight to the desk at the gate, so they didn't know. They didn't have a clue. I was already transferred over to a seat to wait, and the gal at the desk had no clue that I needed help. So I asked a mother that was with her kids. I said, could you please tell the gal at the desk that I need the aisle chair? I cannot walk at all. So she really did. She ran over there. She knew how important it was. And she told the gal at the desk, oh my gosh, you have a patient, you have a gal here who needs to transfer over to the plane. She can't walk. So the gal came over to me right away, very apologetic, and she said, are you mine? I said, yes, I think I am. So I am yours. So she went to grab an aisle chair. I said, I cannot walk at all. So she began the process of getting the aisle chair, getting me transferred over. The guys were very apologetic, and they took me into the plane and helped me transfer over to the seat, all of that. So that was a piece of communication that was missed. So I don't want you to miss it. I want you to go straight to the desk at the gate and just let them know you're there. You have this disability. You need this kind of help. So, and they will be happy to do so. Now, one thing that's important that I want to alert you is that some airports are smaller than others. They're not all the same. So if you're going to an island, you're going to a smaller country, you need to be alert and aware if that airport is small. They're not going to have all the tools as a big airport. There was an article, and I held myself back from saying anything. I grew up in Costa Rica, by the way. So there was this one gal in a wheelchair who flew to a very small airport in Costa Rica in the northern province of Guanacaste. And that airport is very small. I'm very proud that they built this airport because in that area, all they had was land strips. So this airport was kind of new, but very, very small. They didn't have the tools that a big airport has. And they weren't alert, of this person's need to be carried down. So people protested, people got angry, people splashed this all over the news. And I'm like, these people at that airport worked their tail off to get her safely down the stairs. And she complained. The news splashed it all over the place in a very negative way. But I'm alerting you already that if you're going from a big airport to a small airport to an island to a small province, please figure out if that's a small airport and what kind of tools do they have to help you. I felt bad for the people in the airport in Guanacaste because they didn't know she was coming, and they did everything possible to bring her down, down the stairs because they didn't have elevators or anything to bring her down as you would in an industrial country. So Costa Rica is a very small country, and in the main airport is Juan Santa Maria. She should have gone to Juan Santa Maria. They would have brought her down, with electronic ways. And then she should have driven to Guanacaste, which would have been not far, maybe 4 hours to get to Guanacaste. I think that would have been the best route and not fly into Guanacaste or any of the islands, So please be aware of that. If you're going from a big airport to a very small airport, that they're not going to have the tools that a big airport has. Automatic, so don't be angry at them because they didn't have an elevator, because they didn't have this, they didn't have that. It's a small airport. They're not prepared to handle, people in wheelchairs, all that kind of stuff. So let's be smart and let's make sure, where you're flying, from what point to what point, and what's the size of this airport, and what tools do they have to help you, So be aware, be on top of it, and I'll also post this in the list for caregivers, so they're aware also that if you're flying to a small airport, not to expect, everything that you would have in a big airport. So I just want to reiterate that. I felt bad, really, for the whole situation because the family didn't know probably how small this airport was. Again, I congratulate Guanacaste for building that airport. It's small, so if you fly in, don't expect the usual from a big airport. So I really felt bad for the whole situation. But I don't want to say that or get into it. It's really important to know where you're flying into and how they're going to help you. I'm going to continue with my little hat here because the sun is blaring at me. So just one of those things. As there's a suggestion for us to pack light, but sometimes it's not possible because we have a disability and we need stuff to accommodate, our needs. What I do want to say is that if you're bringing in medications, which most of us would, bring your prescriptions or leave them in the original bottle. Don't mix medications in different bottles and all that kind of stuff because that will be checked. Put them in your carry-on, not in your checked-in luggage. I always carry all my medications, and there's quite a few. I leave them in their original package, and it has my name on it and the pharmacy where it came from, all that stuff. So there's no question that the medication belongs to me and that I really need that medication. So leave them in their original bottles, leave them in their original package, so that there's no question what it is, um, who it belongs to, all that kind of stuff. So just a warning about medications. Keep them in the original package. Uh, if you're going to a smaller country, my suggestion is get the prescriptions, download the prescriptions, and just fold them up, and mine come in a sheet and bubble wrap. So I just put a rubber band around the whole thing, and then I put the prescriptions underneath the rubber band, and I just leave it like that. So if they have any questions, the prescriptions are there along with the medications, so to have my name. So so there's no question, no problem, no issues. So make sure that the medications you are taking are accepted in that country. You don't want to take anything with CBD in it or marijuana, medical marijuana, because that's not accepted in all states in the United States. It's not accepted in all countries out there for sure. And there is jail time in Costa Rica if you bring in marijuana. So just don't risk it. Leave CBD stuff at home. That's a warning. But do make sure that all medications that you're taking are accepted in that country. And it's just the best thing to do. So we should pack the lightest we can. Sometimes we need tools and stuff like that, and we check them through because they're medical equipment. So we need to just do that and work it through the system. That is about it. I want to say be verbal, be communicating with the people at the desks so that they're helping you. Smaller countries are very open. They want the tourists to come back, so they're very helpful in whatever they can do for you, the passenger, or the tourist. So they really want everything to work out to the best. So they don't mean be silly or anything like that. So especially Costa Rica. Costa Rica is a very friendly country, and I can say that myself. So they really want to help you. And look up things before you go. Look up the airport, look up the country, look up their history. The Dominican Republic is going through a lot of trouble right now, and there's a lot of violence. So if there's violence in XYZ country, hold off on your trip. Just hold off. It's not fun to get shot at. So so really look up at the safety at that country and make sure that it will be safe for you, your companion, your caregiver, and that you will have fun and you're not going to be dodging bullets. Check the size of the airport, talk to the airlines about assistance at that end. I know that Juan Santa Maria Airport in Costa Rica is fine if they know you're coming and that they'll need to help you. And there's a bridge. They'll connect the plane to the bridge, just like here in the U.S. It's just these smaller airports do not have that. So I'm just letting you know. In complaining about it and putting them down is not going to work either. So I'm just alerting you. Just think. So about those smaller airports and what they can provide and what they won't provide because they don't have it. What else? What else can you think? Clothing. Make sure it's simple for you. And everything else that you would need. Make a list at home and make sure you've covered all of that you need, so that you're not panicking in the next country. Oh my gosh, I forgot to bring XYZ. Here in the United States, we will be changing over to the Real ID in 2025. So the airlines and the TSA is going to give it some time for us to get our act together and change over to the Real ID. So just so you know, and especially the TSA. So if you're traveling within the United States, make sure that if you have an ID, then you need to use your passport. The passport is the best thing to have. And I've traveled with my passport in the United States just in case there's a question. So if you go into Mexico, you need a passport. If you go into Canada, you need a passport. So don't even hesitate. Bring your passport. If you don't have one, please get one. It doesn't cost that much. But if you can't change over to the Real ID for whatever reason, get a passport, and then you'll be fine. You'll breeze through all the borders and states with a passport. So, some of us just only have an ID, and I don't think they use a Real ID on just the IDs, regular IDs. I'd have to look that up and get back to you, and I will put a link down below in regards to IDs versus driver's license. I know the driver's license, they're changing them over to Real ID. So I just don't know about regular IDs. So we'll have to check that. So I'm hoping this information helps you. Don't forget about this useful information here, and the link will be down. If you bring your own wheelchair, whether it's manual or whether it's power, you need to write out the instructions on how to fold it, how to unfold it, how to turn it off, how to turn it on, how to disconnect the motor from your power wheelchair, even with pictures. Do it simple, with pictures, a few words, and they'll get it. Take off anything that doesn't need to go with the power wheelchair. With the manual wheelchair, take off your cushions, take them with you. For the power wheelchair, same thing. If you can take off your joystick and bring it with you. Have a little baggie for those kind of things. If you have loose cushions on your power wheelchair, take them off, take them with you. So that's really, really important. If you're going to hand over your wheelchair to them so they can put it down below, put all the instructions. I don't care if it's manual. Put the instructions on how to fold it or how to, take off the wheels. You might even take off the wheels yourself and, put a band around it. I don't know. But make sure your name is on your manual wheelchair and your power wheelchair. You have to check into the main desk downstairs. If you bring in your manual or power wheelchair, you need to check it in at the main desk on first floor. That's where it starts. They will put in a special label on your manual wheelchair and your power wheelchair so it doesn't get lost, so it doesn't get sent anywhere, and so that it is brought to you once you have landed. Your wheelchair is not supposed to end up downstairs with the luggage. No. And you need to remind them that. To bring your wheelchair to you when you are exiting the plane. No ands, buts, or maybes about it. Okay? That's really important. Check that label. Make sure at the first floor, when you first check in your chair, that is put on the label. I don't care if they're writing it. I don't care if they're printing it out. But no wheelchair should be taken downstairs to the luggage area. It needs to be brought to you when you're exiting the plane. Okay, that makes sense. It's really important to verbalize that downstairs and upstairs when you're at the gate. I wanted to add that because that's really important. Just put instructions on your wheelchair, put your name on your wheelchair. Let me see if I can turn around and you'll see the label. It says medical equipment and then it has my name on there. Let me turn around. So make sure you have your name on your wheelchair and the instructions with pictures. I usually laminate it, once I'm clear as to I've never traveled with my wheelchair because I'm still afraid they'll break it. So, and at the other end, if I'm meeting with my family, they can't pick it up. So they're at the age and physical issues. My power wheelchair is very heavy, so I would have to contract with a van or something to bring me to the hotel and drive me around, Seattle while I visit my family. So that would be the only way. Or to Canada, and contract with a van that would pick me up and take me to the different places. So that would be the only way. What my family does is I go without my wheelchair, and when I get there, they have rented a scooter, and I use the scooter to get around. And this is a scooter that can be taken apart, put in the car, and we go. So that is more helpful to them. So that's what I do. I let go of my power wheelchair. I leave it at home. Then when I get to the airport, they help me, with a wheelchair all the way to the gate. So make sure you have the instructions. Make sure you verbalize that they need to bring the wheelchair to you when you land. No wheelchair, and I repeat, no wheelchair should end up with the luggage downstairs. They need to bring the wheelchair to you when you're exiting the plane. No ands or buts about it. Okay, so let's make sure we have that clear, that they always need to bring the wheelchair directly to you. When you're exiting the plane, you get in your wheelchair and you're happy-go-lucky, off you go. If you don't bring your wheelchair, well, the person who is pushing you in the wheelchair as you exit brings you downstairs where your family is so you can get in the scooter, and then the wheelchair person can go. So that's how I've done it to Canada and the state of Washington. So, and it helps my family. So, but any questions, anything I might have missed, please let me know. Ask the questions down below. If you want to tell a story that will help the rest of us, that would be great. Please do that. Stories are always good and helpful. If you have a positive story or a not so good story, we all learn from each other. In the United States, they've tightened the rules in terms of caring for our wheelchairs if you're traveling with your manual wheelchair or power wheelchair. So read those rules and keep those rules with you so that if something happens, you open the sheet and say, well, on article blah, 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 you are responsible for doing blah, blah, blah. So right here. So that they know that you are very aware of what the new regulations are on taking care of you in your wheelchair. All right, folks, I'll leave it at that, and I will see you soon. As always, you please feel free to subscribe if you got to the end of this video. Like the video. That helps a lot because then YouTube says, oh, people like this video, so I'm going to throw it around more on the YouTube world. You can comment. Comments also help. Oh, people commented a lot, so I'm going to throw this video out to more people. So all of that helps videos spread out more. So, and especially my channel is a small channel, so the more you like and the more you subscribe, the better it helps. All right, take care, and I'll see you guess where.